Sometimes it happens in a language that two different roots with the same basic meaning may coexist in an odd way. You may use one root for the singular and a different root for the plural. In English, for example, we use person to refer to one, person, from the Latin persona, but the plural is most often people, from the Latin populus, meaning a group or a population. And we see something similar in Russian when we talk about people. One person is человек. That's the basic nominative singular form, and all the singular forms in other cases are formed from that root. Этот человек не говорит по-русски. У этого человека нет паспорта. Этому человеку надо помочь. Я знаю этого человека. Вы говорили с этим человеком? Мы думали об этом человеке. But the nominative plural, the equivalent of English people, is люди, from a completely different root. And the most widely used plural forms will be based on this root. Let's look at some examples. Эти люди ничего не понимают. Этим людям было очень скучно. Я знаю этих людей. Я говорил с этими людьми. Watch out for this one. It's a little irregular. Note the мягкий знак, the soft sign, followed by ми, людьми. Я думал об этих людях. You may have noticed that we skipped the genitive. Normally, we form the genitive plural by adding various endings to the nominative singular, but clearly there's something strange going on with this word. Here's where this coexistence of two roots, one for the singular and another for the plural, gets even more interesting. For this word, we have two genitive plural forms, людей and человек, which looks the same as the nominative singular. So how do you know which one to use? That depends on the context, so here are some guidelines. Use людей after много, мало. Много людей. Мало людей. And most other times that you need the genitive plural, like with absence. Никаких людей не было. Or with prepositions that govern the genitive. Держитесь подальше от таких людей. Use человек after несколько, and when people directly follows a number that requires genitive plural forms. Remember that this group includes the numbers 5 through 20, 25 through 30, 35 through 40, and so on. 5 человек. Несколько человек тут же встали и пошли к реке. Робин Бобин Барабек скушал 40 человек. But when you have an adjective between these numbers and the noun, 5 незнакомых человек, then you might also hear людей, 5 незнакомых людей. And this is also true with the declined forms of 2, 3, 4. Нет двух разумных человек, or нет двух разумных людей. Of course, after numbers ending in the basic forms 2, 2, 3, or 4, we use the noun ending that looks like the genitive singular, два разумных человека. And again, notice how this genitive plural, человек, looks just like the nominative singular. Один человек, 5 человек. As you continue with Russian, you'll encounter a handful of other nouns with genitive plural forms that are identical to the nominative singular. Summing up, we've got several things to keep in mind when using Russian equivalents for person and people. The singular has the root человек, but the nominative plural is люди, and most other plural case forms are based on that same root. But there are two genitive plural forms, людей and человек, which is identical to the nominative singular. Use людей after много, мало, and most times when you need the genitive plural. Use человек after несколько, and following numbers that require the genitive plural. If an adjective follows the number, людей is also possible.